Hi guys, and welcome to Rathwulven Bushcraft. Today I would like to talk about a topic that is not all too often talked about, and if it's talked about, usually people are talking about a lot of half-truths or giving you wrong kind of tips. And of course we're talking about knife safety. Why is this so important? Well, a knife is a very dangerous tool if it's not handled with great care and with the right sort of technique. And maybe if you're a beginning bushcrafter, you don't know anything about knife safety, so I would like to share a couple of tips with you. If you're already intermediate or already kind of like a professional bushcrafting expert, it might be nice to review those tips too. So here we go, starting off with tip number 1. Okay, tip number 1, keep your knife blade sharp at any time. Sounds like common sense, and you probably read about this, but it's still worth mentioning, because it's important that you understand that your knife has to do the work. The reason for that is, if you're taking a piece of wood and you carve away, and you have to apply more and more force because your blade is really dull, you lose the control over your grip. So the less force you have to apply, the better. Also very important, as far as a knife needs to do the work by itself, cutting actually is not a pushing motion. I see a lot of people do these type of push cuts, and there's nothing wrong with that if it's useful for your respective work that you're doing at the moment. But usually the movement of a blade should be this, a slightly diagonally moving and cutting movement. And the knife only does this work if it's absolutely sharp. So learn about maintenance, there's a ton of videos around there, get some education on this and make sure your blade stays sharp. Tip number 2, if you're not working with your knife, put it back into the sheath. If you don't have a knife with a sheath, like this Mora companion here, and for example a foldable knife, like this Opinel, make sure you fold in your knife into the handle, turn the lock, make it secure. The same also counts for hatchets and tomahawks. They stay in the sheath at any time you're not using them. So why is this so important? If we're walking around with our knife open like this, there's a higher risk to get injured. See? If I'm moving, I'm always having an open blade out that might injure somebody. Also if somebody's in close proximity. Then the next thing is, people have the tendency to just put down their knife like so. If you got an open blade lying around and you just forget about it in the heat of the moment and you're just sitting down right into the blade, you will injure yourself. So make sure that your blade is always in the sheath if you're not using that. That also means if you're just walking around. No exception. Another very important thing to talk about is how to move it out of the sheath properly. Take a look at my hand. I'm coming closer. This is the wrong way to do it. Do you see why? I have my fingers right around the sheath where the cutting edge of the knife is. The correct way to take it out of the sheath is like so. You're making sure that you have a good grip on your sheath, but you stay away from the blade. Alright, tip number 3. It might sound completely profane and trivial, but work slowly, be focused, and be mindful. Keep these 3 things in mind. Working slowly, being focused, and being mindful. So what do I mean by this? First of all, if we're carving, cutting, battening, whatever we do, we should make sure that the movement of our blade points away from our body, never towards us. See? We have to make sure that we don't put ourselves in a bigger risk than necessary. The second thing would be that, for example, if you're dropping your knife like so, see? You instinctively are trying to catch it. If this blade would be exposed right now and I drop it and I try to catch it like so, I would probably injure myself. So if you're mindful, what happens is you take a step back, just like so. Also be aware that there's a so-called circle of blood, or as I would like to say, the bubble of blood. What do I mean by this? There's a three-dimensional space right around you, on top of you, like a bubble that is surrounding the core of your body. And you can always move in different vectors within this bubble, and approximately for the length of your arm's reach. This is very important because let's say you're out camping with a friend of yours and this person is approaching from the back, and while you're carving, you're doing this movement. You're just turning around to say hi, and all of a sudden you cut this person in the hand, maybe in the stomach, maybe even cause a severe injury. We don't want this. The same counts for if you're alone. There's a tree right next to me. Let's say I would sit down here and carve, and I would do this movement, see? And I'm losing control over my blade. I might injure myself badly, so bear that in mind. Work slowly, be mindful, and always stay focused. Then also for the speed of working, I see people hacking away like this, or just using their knife as if it was a hatchet. Don't do this. Be slow in your work, keep control, have a proper grip on your knife, and work steadily rather than being aggressive and hasty and unfocused. Tip number 4 is a tip I would like to give you personally and with a lot of emphasis, because I do see a couple of people talk about this, but I see even more people doing this wrong. And what am I talking about? Well, picture yourself holding your knife with this reverse grip, and maybe you're just to put it down like so, and you ram it into a piece of wood, maybe to take some cordage and cut it like so. Well, you should not do this, and I want to explain to you why. Take a look at this knife. It does not have a proper guard. The same accounts for many knives that you might use, especially if you're a beginner. If you take an opinel, there's no protection here for your hand. So what happens is that if you take this knife and you ram it down like so, you might risk sliding right over the blade with your fingers or the palm of your hand. And the injuries that this will bring upon can get you in big trouble. Not simply because of blood loss, but also just because you use your main hand, which is a very important tool out there. And just picture yourself being somewhere in the Canadian woods or maybe somewhere in the Alpine mountains and you cannot use your primary hand. This will become a big issue. So never take your knife with this reverse grip and ram it into a piece of wood like this. I want to show you some technique that makes it a little more safe. Just bear with me. If you got a piece of wood or maybe a hatchet with you, just take it in a firm grip and slowly batten it in, as if you were using a hammer. This gives you by far more control. You can still use this technique for cutting rope, but you also stay safe. So pay attention to this, please. Tip number 5 is actually not a simple tip, but it's more of an illustration how to hold your knife properly. And there's basically 3 techniques that in my opinion are sufficient for you to do any type of work out there. And these are those. There's the so-called forehand grip. Imagine yourself shaking hands with somebody, going around the handle of the knife, getting a sturdy grip, and then locking your fingers with your thumb. The blade is facing away from you. This is called the foregrip hold, most common use technique. Then there's the so-called reverse foregrip hold. It's basically the exact same thing, just pointing the blade towards you. If you are a beginner, you should not use this technique, because if you're cutting, you will need to lock your arm in like this and then basically shave like so in order not to get injured. If you would do this movement, as you can see, you could get yourself in danger. if you really do the cutting, put the piece of wood right on your chest. Make sure your elbow is locked within the side of your ribs. And then just do this movement, because as you can see, the faster I go, the more resistance I will feel here, and the safer I will be while doing this movement. And then there's a third one, which is called the so-called chest lever, which is basically holding the knife in the reverse foregrip hold, putting your thumb right on top of the blade, and then bringing it into your chest like so. It is important that this is all on your chest and it stays pushed onto your chest and your rib cage, and then the piece of wood is brought in like this, and then you do this movement with your shoulders. This will subtract a lot of material and gives you a lot of force, but at the same time keeps you in control. Again, very important that the movement comes from the shoulders and not from your arms like so, because as you can see, I'm losing full control. On the chest, and then moving slowly and just with the force of the back and my shoulders. This will be enough for you to do basically any type of work you need to do in the outdoors. Tip number 6 would be the concept of the triangle of death. And maybe you've seen this in a David Canterbury book or video before. The triangle of death is this section of your body, from your stomach all the way down to your knees, and then in this entire field right here. So why is this called the triangle of death? If I'm sitting here and I'm starting to carve and I slip and just brush over my inner thigh, I might cut one of the main arteries that go right through the inner side of my leg. The blood loss you can experience from that can be so fatal that it might result in death if you don't get quick help. So you have to be aware that this is not a good way to work. Same thing accounts for this area. All the vital organs are in your belly. And if you injure one of these organs, maybe a kidney, maybe a liver, those injuries can be fatal. This is why we call this the triangle of death. And you should never work within this. So you might think, if I'm sitting down and I'm carving, can't be that big of a deal, right? I'm working away from my body. No, there's one simple trick. Turn around like so. Use the piece of wood as an anchor to your leg and the other way around. And then just work to this direction, because if I lose control, see, there's barely anything that can happen. And if something happens, I might still just brush that thick muscle on the outer side of my thighs, and this is a lesser injury compared to what I could endure right here. The same thing also counts for battoning. If you're sitting here and you got a lock like right here and you're hammering away, this is so dangerous, because if this lock is split and your knife tilts like so and it goes right into your leg like here, you might risk a fatal injury. So if we go in battle, we go down on our knees and we're batoning like this, and preferably with a piece of lock in between us, so we have some extra protection in case we go down like this. Never ever do any kind of wood carving or batoning work while sitting like this. There are instructors out there that say that just anchoring your elbows on your knees is sufficient. I do recommend not to do this, because I have seen this gone wrong. I've seen people that got injured really badly and luckily made it. So just don't do it. It will cost you a big deal. Alright, and for the final tip, always carry a med kit with you. I know it sounds absurd, and it's even more absurd that you have to remind people of carrying a med kit, but it does happen that people leave their medical equipment at home. And you will need plasters, you will need patches, and you will need band-aids once. It happens to everyone. Injuries do happen, even if it's just a tiny cut in your finger. Make sure you're prepared. Make sure you can clean the wound and make sure you can patch it up. The same counts for those very heavy injuries that you could cause by cutting and carving. Make sure you get yourself an Israeli band-aid. If you don't know what that is, go out, look on Google, or maybe check YouTube for instructional videos. It's really good to have an Israeli band-aid, especially if you injure those arteries. It's not a life-saving guarantee, but it can make a big difference up until rescue forces arrive. And again, make sure that if you're out in the woods, you can be reliable to yourself and for yourself, because maybe you're out in the woods alone, just like I am right now, and anything could happen at any time. Does not mean you need to be fearful, but you have to be wary of that. Alright? So, to wrap it up, I hope that this was kind of informational for you. I hope you could learn something. I also do know that this is not covering every single topic that evolves around knife safety, but it's the basics that get you started. Get out there, start practicing, do it right, do it safely, and you will have a great time, right? If you like this, please make sure you're going to subscribe. Please also make sure to check out the links in the description. Now we're offering some merchandise with you can support this channel. And if you have some comments or feedback, or maybe some things you would like to add or ask, just leave a comment down in the comment box. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great time outdoors, and see you next time. Bye bye.